Hey everyone, Ahmed here, and today I'm going to be talking about how much I spent as a student at TU Delft. So let's get right into it. So the first biggest cost as an international student, of course, is the tuition fee. Unfortunately, internationals have to pay roughly 7 times more compared to EU students for studying at TU Delft, and it is what it is, but I pay roughly around 15,200 euros a year to study at TU Delft currently, and that is a lot of money, unfortunately. Next, we have the rent of the place that I'm actually living in here right now, the social hub. And right now for this room, which is roughly around 16 square meters, and I have my own bathroom, but the kitchen is shared, I'm paying roughly around 850 euros a month. Now, this is on the expensive side. I couldn't find good housing, so I had to resort to here. So usually it's not this expensive. You can find housing for around 500, 600 euros a month, but the social hub has great facilities. It has its gym, study areas. You get to meet new people, so it's very nice. That's why I love it as well here. So yeah. Next big expense is public transport. Now, if you actually live in Delft, you won't have public transport costs because you will probably be going to campus with your bike, right? But the thing is, right now in my third year, I'm doing my minor at Leiden. So I have to go to Leiden roughly around 3 times a week to actually study there. So this costs me around 140 euros a month, which is also pretty expensive since Leiden is pretty far away. You can also check the NS site, which will be linked in the description below if you want to figure out how much your route specifically costs you. So let's say you want to come from Rotterdam to The Hague, you can just check it in the link in the description and it will calculate it for you basically. In addition to this, in the 140 euro price, I also have something called Weekend Vrij, which allows me to travel unlimitedly during the weekends. So starting from Friday 6:30, I get to travel for free anywhere in the Netherlands until Sunday midnight or something like that, which is great because it allows me to go to Amsterdam or Eindhoven or wherever I want to go for much less of a price than I would usually pay. Next, we have insurance costs, and I pay 52 euros a month from Insure to Study, and this is a standard insurance that TU Delft recommends you to actually do, and yeah, so far I haven't had any problems with them. Thank God I haven't had any cases where I needed to go to like a doctor for something like that. So they're doing a pretty good job, I guess. Next, we have boxing. So I personally take boxing classes in Delft, and this roughly costs me 20 euros a month for, and yeah, it's very enjoyable. So if you also decide to go to a gym, it will also roughly cost you 24, 25 euros a month. So that's your fitness expenses basically. Next, we have our bike costs. So I use Swapfiets right now, and I pay roughly around 15 euros a month for my bike, and I'm very happy with it. And if you're also planning to lease a bike like I'm doing currently right now rather than buying it, I highly recommend you use Swapfiets because they're a great service, and the link is in the description. If you want to actually get a bike, you'd also be supporting this channel, so I'd greatly appreciate that. Now, you can also buy a second-hand bike for 50 euros, but I don't know, at least I didn't want to deal with the maintenance issues and all of that, and if it gets stolen, blah blah blah. Swapfiets takes care of all of that for you, so you can just focus on your studies hassle-free, which is great. Next, we have our mobile phone costs. I currently pay around 10 euros a month for my subscription or a telephone provider, and I use Lebara, which is literally the cheapest option you can go for, and I get around 5 GB of internet a month and 120 minutes of call time. So yeah, it's not much. It's pretty expensive in the Netherlands here compared to Turkey. Turkey, it's dirt cheap, but yeah, if you want to choose more of a quality line, then you can go for T-Mobile or Vodafone, and they'll be more expensive, like 15 to 18 euros a month for roughly the same package basically. Now, coming to actually one of my biggest expenses, and that is groceries. I like to eat a lot of food, and I like to eat a lot of healthy food. So the majority of my expenses actually goes to groceries, of course, after the rent, you know? And on average, I averaged both months, by the way, so I averaged September and October. So with the current inflation prices, I'm currently paying around 430 euros per month for groceries. And I'll also tell you some average food prices. So for example, 30 eggs is 7 euros on the Turkish market. We have 1 kilogram of minced beef, which is also 10 euros. We have 1 kilogram of chicken breast, which is 8 euros. We have 1 kilogram of salmon, so the good one, the good salmons, which are 20 euros, pretty expensive. And I'll have a bunch more grocery prices somewhere around the screen right now, so you can have an idea of how much you can potentially spend in the Netherlands for your food. Next, we have restaurant costs. So this month I paid roughly around 50 euros for restaurant costs, so eating out. I don't eat out too much, so this is me not eating out too much. So maybe like once a week, you know, I'll get like a kapsalon, which is this food over here, amazing food. The cost of this food is actually 7 euros roughly if you want to get a medium size, but large size if you want to get X large like me, it's like 9 euros. And ramen is roughly around 13 to 15 euros, and eating out roughly costs around 13 to 15 euros. And you don't have tip culture here as it is in the US, I guess, so if you don't pay tip, you'll basically be able to save as much as possible. Now, if you want to go to a cafe, here are some prices for cafes in Starbucks. So if you buy some of these are the prices. And school coffee costs around roughly 50 cents, but they're very trash and very small, so yeah, it's fine. But there's also some good school coffee which costs around 2 euros, so you can also keep that in mind as well. Now for partying, drinks and greenery, those stuff, I'm not too sure about the prices because I don't consume them that much, but I am pretty sure you can do your own research and ask friends that you have that probably study here, and they'll be able to tell you how much you could potentially spend on those. Now here are some prices for miscellaneous items as well, just so you have the perfect idea of how much you're going to spend. So all around the screen we have miscellaneous prices for miscellaneous items, so you could pause the video and have a look at them right now. Here are also some basic prices of clothing if you decide to buy clothing in the Netherlands. They'll also be in the screen here right now. You can pause the screen, same deal. And that pretty much summarizes all of the expenses that you can possibly have in the Netherlands. And my total living expenses right now cost around 1.6k euros, so 1,600 euros per month. And the total living cost for me for 1 year is 31,200 euros, and that is with tuition. So that is actually pretty decent compared to the US, where you'd pay 50,000 for just tuition, or the UK where you'd pay 24k pounds just for tuition. And that's actually one of the main reasons I chose TU Delft as a university as well, because it was one of the best price performance universities, so you can say. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any other questions regarding pricing of anything or any other TU Delft related questions. I'll try my best to reply as soon as possible, and have a great day.